Hello, everybody. This is Lauren of Plan Mosh Plan. Welcome back to a triple plan with me. I'm flipping through right now, showing you all 3 spreads that are going to be included in this video. I decided that, and right now I'm showing you the first one, which is from Miss and Meow. Holiday Sparkle, I believe is the name of this kit. But this plan with me is going to have all 3 of my Christmas, well, actually I already did one, but I do Christmas spreads for the entire month of December, and I already uploaded one of those. It's my last plan with me if you'd like to watch that, but this video is going to have all of the other 3 combined into one video. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a plan with me, so hello, hi there. If if you don't follow me on Instagram and you haven't heard from me for a bit, but I definitely over the month of December had a very, very, very busy December with, the holidays being one thing. Work was also crazy for me in a way that it isn't always. So I was still making time to plan and do my spreads in December, but I just was not making the time to edit. And I'm sure you've heard me say a million times, I hate editing. It is such a chore, such a task. And when I'm already like busy and at my limit of taking care of stuff at work and home, it's like the last thing I want to sit down to do. But I did want to get these spreads uploaded. And although it's now mid-January and I didn't want to upload like 3 December Christmas spreads in the middle of January, I thought I would just combine them all into one video. And then there you go. So as always, not as always, but I will timestamp them like I do in my haul. So if you want to just watch each section at a time and then come back to the other ones later, it'll hopefully make it easy to do that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that. There's one missing Meow kit, which is this one. Also, my previous Christmas December spread was Miss and Meow, and then two Lil Bees kits. So I definitely seem to have a preference for my holiday kits of who I went to. They just really did a really good job with theirs, I think. Okay, so let's get into this first plan with me now that you know what's going on. So down here, I'm gonna be totally honest, I don't love what happened down here. I don't remember why I didn't just use the bottom washi down here. I don't know if I really liked the deco or if I didn't like the bottom washi. Could be either. Don't remember at this point. It's been so long since I actually filmed this, but I ended up instead just using the like top washi strip, adding in the torn paper strips from the kit, and then some of the alcohol ink swatches on transparent matte from Rose Colored Days as kind of a background, and then putting all of the deco and some of the like foiled hanging ornaments and stuff that I have from my stash, my separate from the kit. I'm a little rusty at the voiceovers, you're gonna have to excuse me. Anyways, and kind of putting all of that together and making more of like a scene washi. I think it turned out way too busy, but I wasn't gonna rip everything up once I did it. I've kind of talked about this on Instagram primarily, I think. If you're not following me there, I definitely put a lot of context in my Instagram stories. That's probably it's definitely where I post the most. So I think that's probably mostly where I've talked about this, but I am just not a fan of the really heavily patterned floral washi strips. I don't understand it. I don't see the point. To me, the washi strips, like the ones up top, you can see with the that I'm doing up here in the date cover section that just have like a wood background. Anything like that that has like a neutral background, some sort of textured, lightly patterned maybe, but something pretty neutral that you can layer over like things on top of without it looking busy and instead it looking like a nice, backdrop. That makes sense to me on those papers. I know that when you're looking at a sticker sheet and none of the stickers are already layered, it looks really pretty to have the floral torn paper strips, but like in practice when you're actually trying to use them, I don't think they look very good just because you can't layer anything on top of them. Otherwise it looks busy. I haven't seen it done well yet. I don't know. Maybe tell me if I'm wrong. So I shouldn't say I haven't seen it done well, but Just my opinion. It's my personal opinion. I preferred less pattern. So I think I was trying to like in the bottom washi area, trying to make it work and not layer too many things on top of it, or just kind of barely have things barely overlapping, but still turned out a little bit too busy. So that's okay. On the other hand, up top up here, I do really like what I did. It turned out really nice, just with the wood strips in the background, some of the larger florals and the deco. Those hanging ornaments are from Sadie Stickers. I actually didn't originally purchase those, and she sent them to me, and I was like, okay, let's give them a try, and I ended up really loving how it looked, and then kind of layering in some of the like Paper Muse Crafts little ornament clusters around them. I thought it ended up looking really cute. I also, oh, there we go. That's it finished. I think it looks super sweet. Much less busy with that kind of, wood texture in the background, but still kind of similar. Like I layered the florals and the clip art pieces in a similar way. So I don't know. That's just my just my opinion there. Okay, let's see. So I don't know. I'm kind of rambling here a bit. Apologies, but I'm gonna talk about the sidebar now. Cut up one of the like paint swatches from the journaling kit and layered that little tag with the coffee and some florals over top it for the date section, and of course putting snowflakes and ornaments, etc., around it. I think that looks so cute. I really loved how that turned out a lot. I mentioned this, I think, in my last plan with me, but one of my favorite things that to do recently, especially with all of the journaling kits and having like those paint swatch type stickers being more prevalent in kits, is cutting them in half, generally diagonally, and layering them behind things. And then kind of covering the cut edges with florals or clip art and stuff like that. It's been super fun. So, yeah, that's a good example of that up there. This is a pretty standard sidebar, nothing too crazy. I do like this little scene that I did down here though with the nutcracker and the gingerbread house. I think, oh, this is what I was going to say earlier. I think the gingerbread house and cookies, some of them were the same artwork from the Miss and Meow kit that I had the week previously. And I did have some leftover. So I was able to kind of pull some of those leftovers into this spread too, I'm pretty sure, which was nice to have the cookies and the gingerbread house since it was the same thing, but it doesn't look at all like this spread beforehand or from last week. I also layered in some little like candy canes and Christmas candies in that little section at the bottom of the sidebar there, which is really cute. I had more space to work with there than I normally do because I normally have the bottom washi continue over there. But that wasn't the case, obviously, for the spread since I didn't have bottom washi. So I think it turned out really cute. And then you can see I just put down all my boxes. I'm doing that thing where I'm just scattering every other day a box at the bottom or a box at the top and not putting any in the middle, which is nice for days where I'm trying to pack a lot of stuff in. It just helps me with like sizing and balancing like what the scale of everything is. I used I'm pretty sure that all of the like little string light dividers and washi are from Sadie Stickers, and then the little snowflake borders that I used at the bottom of every box are from, I think, the Pretty Pink Co. Maybe Sadie Stickers too. They both have very similar stickers like that. Okay, so into the week. Up top, I marked 2 meetings. I pulled I marked meetings different every day this week, I think. Or you know what? I don't even think I marked them on Wednesday, even though I had a ton of them. But anyways, I I did it different on Tuesday, that's for sure. So I did end up pulling in though from Crafts by Towie those little calendar stickers and then just foiling it up. All of my seasonal foil for this spread is going to be Sadie Stickers, the Pretty Pink Co, and Paper Muse Crafts for the most part. So that's mostly, I'll try and point things out specifically where I can, but for the most part, it's one of those 3 stores. That's where I buy a lot of mine. Let's see, I meal prepped lunches on this day. I was getting in a really good groove of doing like egg cups and overnight oats. So I think I spent some time on this Monday doing that. I also marked making chicken noodle soup this day. That has been a favorite. I've been making that like, it feels like almost once a week because it's so good in the wintertime. Winter is a little tricky for me, especially with all this rain that we've had in California, which is very not standard for us. But normally my husband just grills a lot of our meats, and I haven't been wanting to like send him out into the cold to grill every night. So I have been trying to get a little bit more creative with how I'm cooking meat myself. So chicken noodle soup is pretty easy. So did that, and then I marked that I filmed part one of my Black Friday haul. That video is now up. You can go check that out. It's the last video posted on my channel. It is 3.5 hours. So much stuff. I crammed so many different orders into that one haul. So I don't think you'd be able to watch it all in one go for the most part, but definitely check it out. I have so much fun stuff. And I did it chronologically, so some of the like I got a couple spring orders at the very end there. And so the most kind of recent stuff that I feel like you haven't already seen in other people's hauls is all the way at the end. So I would recommend watching all the way through at some point if you want to see that kind of stuff. Anyways, okay. So on to Tuesday, I marked that I had 3 meetings on this day. She had this really pretty kind of like notebook torn, washy or sorry, torn paper sticker with some florals around it. So I took that and I added my paper trail plans little midi box rectangle sticker over top and some florals um, to mark that. And then I took some Paper Muse Crafts ornaments and hung them down below and marked we had a pest control appointment on this day. I love those little circles from the Miss Meow kit. They're so beautiful, and the florals in the florals in this kit were pretty tricky for me to work with because they were so like piecey. I don't know how to describe it. I like piecey florals, but sometimes there'll be florals that will have just like one random thin branch sticking out or something, and that was definitely the case with these florals, so I did struggle a little bit, but I feel like I ended up making it work. So anyways, just layered the florals around there. I also marked I had a therapy appointment on this day, and I worked very late at the very bottom there. Yeah, I was, like I said, this was a very heavy work month for me. Like it was just a lot. So there's a lot of me working very late in the month of December that you'll see in this video. Okay, so on to Wednesday. Wednesday was a fun day. I actually went into the office this day. I'm fully remote, but I live an hour and I live close enough to my office to commute in every once in a while if there's stuff happening. So today was definitely one of those days. My coworker and I went in for the day. Right here, I'm marking a snowed in event, which was an event that my company put on as like a little, not like a holiday party, but just like a little holiday event. It was so cool. They transformed one of our like a big conference room to it was like looked like it was completely covered in snow. There was snow coming down from the ceiling. They had like a forest of like snow covered Christmas trees that were like all fenced in with a picket fence and little they even had like street lights there, and then there was all these like snowy themed desserts, and they had these big giant like Valespa candles they were giving us that were like icicle scented and stuff like that, that you could take home, and serving champagne like bubbles. And then they had all these like vendors that were local vendors that you could shop and like walk around. It was very sweet. It was a very fun, cute little event. So I marked it with a candle and like lots of snowflake deco because obviously I got to take home the candle and then snowed in. Yeah, you got it. So that was fun. And then I marked underneath that the timing worked out well because my department also had their Christmas like town hall. So I used one of the little cocktail glasses, little coupe champagne glasses from the kit, which was not only super cute but also very apropos because they did it kind of like a celebration and had a full like bar set up for that as well. So that was a cute way to mark that. And then after that day, or sorry, after work that day, I went straight over to my parents' house. My husband picked me up and drove me over to my parents' house because it was my dad's birthday. So we had dinner over at my parents' house that night. I used little Crafts by Tally balloons to mark that. And yeah, my sister and her boyfriend were there too, so that was fun. It was a very, very packed but fun-filled day. Um, you might also notice that I did not line the columns of this spread. I don't know why. I think I just kind of got sick of it for a second there. So they're not lined in this one, I think, or the next one. But then Christmas week, I started doing it again. I think I needed a little break. But anyways, okay. So moving on to Thursday, I marked a meeting that day similarly to how I marked it on Monday, but like similar but different. Like it was the same kind of base sticker and still has like florals and stuff around it, but not exactly the same. I kind of feel like it reminds me of remember like in the YouTube like beauty community, I can't remember who coined the phrase, but one of those beauty gurus coined the phrase. If you remember, let me know who. That eyebrows should be sisters and not twins. Was it Michelle Phan maybe? I don't know. Let me know if you remember. But that's kind of how I feel with my meetings, which are something that I mark consistently, mostly, 4 or 5 days a week. I want them to look like they all belong as a part of a set and they all go together, but they are not identical. If that makes sense. I mean, sometimes I do make them kind of identical and I just space them out, but and sometimes some days I make it different every single day. I don't know. So it kind of depends on my mood, but I feel like my general feeling about it is I want them to be sisters and not twins. Like they go together, they look like they belong together, but they don't look exactly the same. So that's how the Monday and Thursday was. The one on Tuesday, I don't know, I just did something totally different there. Anyways, okay, Thursday I just marked recording a voiceover and making tacos, and then I did a cute little gingerbread scene with a little gold tree from Sadie stickers down at the bottom there too. I don't know. I think I didn't mark a whole lot of things, a whole lot of exciting things. On Thursday, I was probably worn out from the day before. So I just did a very cute little scene at the bottom instead. Okay, moving on to Friday, I marked work very late and that it was a very stressful day and a stressful work week. I made it look so pretty, but it was stressful. I used one of the like torn graph paper sheets with um, the little tape on top, and then one of the paper trail plans, um, whatchamacallums, arches. Those arches I have been using so much in like I used one on Wednesday, I used another one on Friday. I use them so much because with all of these new journaling kits, I feel like there's these elongated stickers like that one that I used up there at the top of Friday that need something of that like size and that like long and skinny kind of shape. And I'm so sad that they don't make them anymore. I might have to ask Jess or Susie if I can. I don't know. I'm just like I'm running low and they're so perfect for like those kinds of stickers in journaling sheets to make them like whited out and usable. Anyways, okay. Let's see. I kind of flew past Friday there, but I also marked we had another pest inspection. You guys know I'm on it with the pests. We tolerate zero of that here, knock on wood. And then we actually, after I ended up, I worked late on Friday, but once I was off, I marked that we had a very festive night. We decorated our Christmas tree and we baked cookies. And my husband loves eggnog and whiskey, so he was having some eggnog and whiskey. And he makes cute little fancy drinks with cinnamon and whatever. So, yeah, I marked that in a little arch with the Crafts by Towie like Christmas tree with the unboxing of the ornaments. So cute, love that. So and the Paper Muse Crafts ornaments hanging down, I thought that looked really cute and turned out really well. Okay, so that was Friday. Moving on to Saturday, I marked that it poured rain all day, which again in California that's like a rarity for us. But if I would have known then what I know now about what the first couple weeks of January would have looked like, who knows if I would have even marked it. But I marked it really cute again with the candle because to me, when there's like, in California, we have mostly nice, sunny, beautiful days. And then every once in a while when it like rains on a weekend, it feels like such a good excuse to just cuddle up on the couch and not go out, not do anything, be lazy, and like let myself mentally be happy sitting on the couch and not feel like I should be doing something else. So I love it. And that's why I'm sure I've said that before, but that's why I marked it with a cute little candle. Okay, what else? I marked gift shopping, and going to the grocery store, because and making like a kale salad. My mom was having, or my parents were having a dinner party because my dad's birthday was this week. My sister's birthday was a couple days later. So my mom tends to do like a big dinner party, or my parents. I keep saying my mom because she cooks most of it, but my parents host a big dinner party for my dad and my sister generally. So I marked that. It was so much fun. I love like a fancy dinner party in December. It's like the best. I feel like that's one of the best parts of December, in my opinion, is that there's lots of them. There's no shortage of them. So really cute. I took again, just I did it, I think, every day, multiple times a day, where I'm cutting up the paint swatch type organic shape stickers to layer them behind, like in this case, the lace square, and then putting all the florals and foiled stuff around it to cover it up. And it was super cute. The like hanging ornament deco, and again, that same cocktail glass deco plus some foiled ornaments. I kind of made a little, like, layered all of those things together, kind of in place of an icon, but not, I don't know. I thought it turned out really cute. Um, I think too, I haven't mentioned this, but I think all of the icons in this kit are either from the kit, or in the spread are either from the kit or from Crafts by Towie. All the foiled ones are from Crafts by Towie. Okay, moving on to Sunday, I marked that I made a big brunch. I don't know, sometimes I just get this feeling that I just want to do like a big brunch. I'm not really a breakfast person, but every once in a while on the weekend, I like kind of want to do that. So I marked that this day with that, again, that cute tag that I used in the monthly section. It had that coffee cup on top of it, so it was kind of perfect. I just foiled it up with like some candy cane stickers and bows, and layered it over some paint swatches and florals, etc. Um, I also marked that I filmed and uploaded a plan with me on this day. Not the same plan with me. I would have filmed one and uploaded a different one. Um, Again, using the paint swatches in the background and those stickers. The stickers are from Miss and Meow as well. I think those actually came on a freebie and not with this kit, because I used the ones that came with this kit on Monday, but I had those from a freebie and they matched very nicely, so I was a fan of that. I also love those little midi boxes that are now a part of her kit. I think they're so cute. They're kind of perfect. Okay, oh, down here I'm taking another one of those like longer, um whatchamacallem, like notebook paper stickers from Miss and Meow. And you can see I cut it down because I didn't have room for it to do that full like arch, like I was saying earlier when we were talking about what I did on Friday. So I was kind of spacing out, trying to make room here. I took one of the paint swatch stickers and layered above it, and like layered the Paper Trail Plans little framed foiled box over top of it. I think that in her newer kit formats, she made those a little bit smaller, because I used to be able to put that size box over top of that sticker and make it look a lot cuter than it does now, where there's like more of a background. So kind of bummed about that, but oh well, it still looks cute with the ornament and the little florals that I did. I kind of made my own bouquet there, which was fine. So it looks cute enough. So there's that. And then at the bottom there, what I was talking about earlier, I had cut down that note paper sticker, and then I put one of the ovals from that same Paper Trail Plans line to mark that I worked on my objectives until 2 a.m. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I can't do my objectives during the workday. It's just not possible. I always submit them at night. They were due the next day, but I knew I had a busy work day and I didn't want to work after work too late on Monday, so I just stayed up until 2 a.m. and finished them on Sunday night. And God, I don't know why I am the way that I am, but anyways, okay. I am giving you a little view of the whole spread. I think it turned out so well. I tend to struggle a little bit with kits like this that have a lot of soft colors and one really bold color. because I tend to have a hard time spacing out the colors and making it look even. But I feel like I did okay with this one, and I actually really like how it turned out. So I really hope that you enjoy it. And now we're gonna move on into the next plan with me, which is from Miss and Meow. Sorry, not Miss and Meow. That was the last one. This is from Two Lil Bees. I am not remembering the name of this kit. Okay, sorry, just had to pause and look. It is Home for the Holidays. I know when you guys are I know when you guys see it on your screen, you can easily read it, but for me, when I'm doing the voiceover, it is a very small window, so it's very difficult for me to see it. Just for a little insight there, because I feel like sometimes people are like, "Why can't you just read that?" I'm like, "Because it's small. When I'm looking at it, it's different than when you're looking at it." Anyways, it's an incredible kit by Two Little Bees. I loved it so much. Every year I feel like Miss Amia, or sorry, two, I'm gonna keep mixing up the shops because I'm doing the triple plan with me. But anyways, Two Little Bees comes out with like a soft kit like this with the sagey greens and the like light pink and the kind of nudie color and the really soft like whites and green florals, and it is just like creme de la creme for me. It is so my style and so perfect. There was a winter kit, I can't remember the name of it, but I remember like I used it about a year ago. I used it the week that I think the first time I got COVID, and I hated that week. Like in my life was not fun, obviously, but my planner was so beautiful, and I feel the same way about this. It's just such a pretty color palette, so soft and pretty. I was kind of mentioning this in that last plan with me, but I have such an easier time planning when the color palette where everything is really soft and everything goes together really well. Like the color, like light pinks and neutrals, greens, or kind of like more pastel colors, just light colors are super easy for me. I find it really easy to balance all of those colors when they're all kind of the same, not tone, but like the same level of saturation almost, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's the right way to say what I'm trying to communicate, but I don't know. I hope you're catching my drift. Whereas having, the last kit where you've got a lot of like some light kind of sagey green, grayish colors, some light tan, some light pinks, and then you've got a really dark, like pop of dark burgundy. I tend to struggle with that a lot to like make those colors look balanced and make everything look like they go together properly. I struggled a little bit too in the next spread because same thing. It wasn't a dark red, but there is a pop of red too, and sometimes I can just have a hard time with the balance. I do find though that florals are the key to it for me. If there's the balance of colors within the florals, then it's a lot easier to balance the colors in the spread, in my personal opinion. So, anyways, okay, let's talk back about what's going on here. I used the long floral washi strip at the top up here, and then I am taking some presents that I have from Sadie stickers, cutting them up and kind of making them look like they're popping out of the back of the florals. And then I also used some more alcohol ink swatches from Rose Color Days to pop behind there. And then I put these ornaments up top, and I probably should have, like, it looks like a little bit too much. You can see I end up going back and pulling some of them up and replacing with like more, I don't know, dot clusters and stuff, so it wasn't so aggressive. I probably could have done a little bit less and liked this a bit more up top here, but still pretty cute, not too bad. I also used the Christmas light washi right here from Sadie Stickers, or I also have a similar one from Paper Muse Crafts. I don't remember which that one in particular is from, but anyways, I think that sometimes I struggle with this. I feel like in the past I used to be better about only getting really dainty holiday or like seasonal themed foil deco, and then still being consistent about using my also dainty like anytime foil deco, and kind of pairing those together and making things look a bit more balanced that way. With Christmas, I feel like I kind of threw most of what I use as far as like my just average day-to-day stuff that's like not seasonal. I didn't use a lot of it, and instead, like, normally here, if it was any other season, I don't think I would have used the Christmas lights. I would have used like a thin, you know, scalloped washi, or like just straight line washi, double line washi, something like that. That probably would have looked better, but been less like seasonally appropriate. So I don't know. I mean, it still looks very cute, but I'm kind of excited to move into January spreads where I feel like I won't have so much pressure to like I have so many Christmas stickers, use all the Christmas stickers like in those 4 weeks, you know what I mean? So and hopefully like things will just look a little bit better, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. You're probably like, it looks fine. But and I think it looks good. I just sometimes I miss sometimes I feel like I don't use the right sticker for the space visually because I want to use the fun sticker, you know? Anyways, so here's the second half. I think it looks very cute. I also used my tried and true Sadie stickers, date covers. I can't remember the exact name of them, but they're the like, I call them the academic looking ones, or like the newspapery looking ones. So all in all, I think the date covers turned out well there. I really like the month section up here. Again, I cut up some of the little paint swatch looking, not even, because it's just like a flat design, but some kind of swatch design, and I stuck it behind that giant coffee cup with the like candy canes and everything. I put the December script right over top of it, and then I put the little wind gust from Sadie Stickers coming out of it to look like it was steaming. And I thought that that was very cute for up there. And then I actually kept the sidebar relatively simple. I just didn't want to mess with a bunch of stuff in the sidebar. I don't know, wasn't feeling it. So but I did find that this torn washi very pretty, so I put that down at the bottom, and then I'm doing a little kind of hanging deco scene up here, taking one of the headers, putting some of the floral trim beneath it, and then hanging some of the ornaments. Again, most of my ornament stuff, those small ones at least, are from Paper Muse Crafts. And then I'm just cutting up a ton of the alcohol ink swatches and just creating a background. Again, I find sometimes the stuff that's included in journaling kits is so patterned and so much that sometimes I just want something soft in the background, you know? Like I want to be able to layer a floral sticker or whatever stickers come in the kit, the clip art, put it over top something and just not have it clash. So I have really been enjoying alcohol ink swatches because they're just like such a soft, light, pretty background that doesn't clash with anything. It's not too aggressive, like it's not too much. So honestly, I filled up most of the sidebar with that and just kept it really simple, and then marked that this was a gift shopping week. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just didn't know what to mark. Like, not that normally if I mark something in the sidebar, it's like next week I'll mark that it's Christmas week, or like if I'm going on vacation, I'll mark like vacation or something. Like I don't mark like things that don't really matter, but I needed something, like I knew I wanted to use that sticker and I needed something to put in it, so I just kind of like made it up, you know what I mean? Okay, here I am laying down all of my boxes. Again, I don't normally do this, but I think with these spreads where I've been doing boxes only at the top and the bottom, it just has made sense for me to do it all at once because I don't know, then I can kind of have the spacing pre-figured out. Normally the way I do it though is I just look at all the boxes and I figure out which boxes are going to go on which side, and like which boxes are going to go like at the top of Tuesday or the top of Thursday, and then everything else I kind of just fill in. I'm not like too fussy about it. But anyways, lately with this way I've been doing it a little different. Okay, let's move on to Monday. This was a very like productive day, I think. It was my sister's birthday, so I used one of the little midi boxes from the kit to mark that. And again, just had a lot of fun layering the florals. I did use my White Deer stationery icons for this kit. It made so much sense because they are also in that kind of really soft, pretty color palette. So definitely pulled those in. Here I am marking that I had 2 meetings. I feel like I'm pretty consistent with this with my 2 Lil Bees kits. These little fancy boxes are the exact right size, I think, to mark something like meetings. And yeah, I like to put florals around it and then the snowflakes, etc. I used mostly snowflakes as the deco, like the cluster deco in this kit, as opposed to, I think last week there was a lot more ornaments and like pine branches and stuff. I don't know. I love the Sadie stickers, snowflakes from last year, and I hope she brings those back. I was comparing them with the ones from this year, and I just have such a strong preference to the ones from last year. I feel like they are just perfect. And I used up so many of them in December, and I'm scared that I'm like, thankfully last year I bought a ton of them. But I'm scared I'm not going to have enough for January and February. So hopefully she brings those back because they are perfect, and I scattered them all throughout the spread. And if I would have had more, I would have used more, but I am trying to like save enough in case she doesn't bring them back again, because she probably won't at this point. I don't know if she's doing any more winter stickers. Anyways, so Monday I marked, I made a little to-do list using a to-do script from Paper Trail Plans and cutting up one of the swatch stickers with the florals. That actually worked out really well. And then I used my to-do list, marked my to-dos for the day. And then I also at the bottom there marked that my aunt came over. She does a lot of like organizing, and you've heard much about my closet saga. Closets were finished by this day, so she helped me like organize my closet, which was really nice. Okay, moving on to Tuesday, I marked my meetings. Again, same kind of thing. These are, well, I was going to say these are sisters and not twins. I feel like these are maybe fraternal twins. These ones look pretty similar on Monday and Tuesday. Different florals, but very, very similar. But then on Wednesday, you'll see I do something totally different. I don't know. Who knows what my thought process is? Sometimes I try to like justify the thought process, and sometimes there's just no method to the madness. I don't know. Okay, here I'm marking that I painted my nails using a mini box from the kit. I did this a couple times in the month of December where I used the little string lights coming out of the florals on either, like if I put florals on opposite ends of a mini box. And I thought that that looked really cute. And then my kind of classic white Dare stationery icon thing, which is putting like a little tiny seasonal foiled sticker right in the middle of it, putting florals to the side of it, and a bow on the other side of it. It's very, very classic for me there. And then here I am marking the kale. I made a kale salad and some roasted veggies tonight. Also doing something that I have just been consistent with, I feel like all year. I just love this look, which is the Gathered Plans and Paint Design Gathered Layers collection doily box, and then putting a box from the kit over top, and then the Paper Trail Plans foiled box sticker over that, layering florals, etc. on top of it. And then down here at the bottom, oh sorry, I skipped right over that really quickly. I made a super cute little scene with some deco from the kit. And again, I pulled in the Gathered Layers, like a tiny taco behind it. And something that I thought was really cute was I took the Gathered Layers, what is this called? I have one in front of me. The Layered Plaid 2 sticker, which I had seen Rachel use and really liked when she used it. And then got some for myself and was like, what the heck am I supposed to do with these? I remember this, when I laid it down on top of that stocking, it was the first time I used it, and I fell in love. I fell in love. I was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And you'll see I use it a couple times in the next, on the next side of the spread, the next page. And then in the spread after that, I used it every day. Like it was, I instantly fell in love. I cut them in half to kind of stretch them a little bit further, but I think it's so cute. I found it so Christmassy and like also just wintry, fall, winter. I feel like it goes for both. Adorable. Love that sticker. I will definitely be buying more. Okay, let's see. So I marked a meeting up top here. Again, different than I did on Monday, Tuesday, I don't know, whatever. And then another little to-do list. Here I marked a therapy appointment, and I actually really liked the combo of what I did for the therapy appointment. I took one of the torn paper strips and cut it down to fit the size of the column, just the like small side. And then I cut one of the scalloped boxes and cut the scallop off, used just the scallop, and then I cut one of the floral trims, used just the edge of that, layered those, and then layered one of the dainty dot washi stickers from the Pretty Pink Co on top of that. Super cute. Put the little candle from the kit, layered some florals behind that, etc. I think it looks adorable. I think it's very cute. Did I do that? I did something similar. Yeah, kind of flipped it and did something similar on the other side of the week. I think it looks adorable. Okay, so right under that, I marked the final closet install. Okay, so maybe it wasn't finished. It finished this week. Whatever. There's that. And then I also marked at the end of the day that one of our friends was hosting trivia at a brewery. So that evening we went to the brewery and got some flights and dinner and did trivia there with some friends, my sister and stuff. So that was very fun. And that Crafts by Towie sticker with the florals layered behind it fits so nicely in the little like negative space that was created by the like torn washi paper above it being uneven. So I was very, very pleased with that. Oh, this right here, the doctor's appointment that I'm marking is kind of the same torn washi sticker. I did something very similar there, which is layering that paper trail plans box over top. That's my move, is all of these like stickers from the journaling kits. I am layering one of the paper trail plans stickers over top of it to white it out. Like they're all of those ovals, circles, rectangles, arches, etc. There's more that I'm not remembering. I'm layering those on top of all the journaling stuff, and it's making everything look so clean and so intentional, and like it goes together so well, and it's perfect. So I'm loving that. I marked that I had a doctor's appointment this day, and then I also marked that, oh, and there's my head, I'm so sorry. I went and had blood work done at the lab. I was listening to Rachel's Plan with me recently, and she was talking about how she was doing a bunch of health stuff and like trying to just like get it all together in the past month. And I was like, I am doing the exact same thing. I had the exact same like not realization, but at the end of November, I was like, I've been putting this stuff off for too long. I haven't been to the doctor since like pre-COVID, aside from, like breaking my arm and stuff like that. Like, I just need to go do all of the things. So here was my physical, the blood work, the whole thing. There's going to be more of it the next week. I think there was some of it the previous, I don't know. Anyways, you'll see lots of that recently. I also ran a bunch of errands. So I made another little checklist out of the errands. I've said this before, but I love the 2 Lil Bees checklist, and I always I always pull them in a couple times, whereas sometimes in other spreads, I will just leave some of my little to-dos that I do throughout the day out of the spread. With 2 Lil Bees, I always make sure to like consolidate them and put them into the checklist because I just love the checklist. I think they're so cute to have a couple. I marked that I made a steak salad this day. My husband grilled this steak. It was so good. It was like a Thai salad. And then at the bottom there, I did a super cute little scene. I'm sorry if I rushed kind of over it. I wish I would have gone slower because, again, so cute with layering in Christmas trees and cookies and florals and the tiny tacos from Panda Bird Design and the plaid from Panda Bird Design all together. I feel like that turned out so cute. Okay, up top here, I am marking a self-care shower, which you guys know is my kind of like spa type shower that I like to do every, I don't know, maybe week or so. Take the time to make a nice experience there. I took a little candle from the kit to mark that, layered with some pine and one of the little florals, and I think that just looks so pretty. All right, moving on down here, I'm going to mark the cleaners coming. Oh no, sorry, just adding in some more of the foiled little accents around, I guess. Here we go, marking the cleaners. I'm using the little dust broom. Is that right? Dust broom. That sounds wrong to me, but I think that's the right word. And layering some of the holly behind it. Those holly leaves, for some reason, right here look really like sharp and aggressive to me compared to some of the softer florals in the rest of the kit. I don't know. For some reason, this looks a bit sharp to me, but I kind of, added some sparkle and moved things around a bit, and still looks pretty. I kind of oftentimes I like to put florals on opposite corners. Again, me with the word flow, but I feel like it helps kind of make things flow better into each other. Okay, so here I am marking a little date night that my husband and I went on, and I'm doing something similar to how I marked the therapy appointment with the cut up florals and the cut up torn washi layered with the cut up scallop and the dainty divider, etc. Again, I think it looks super, super cute. This I'm marking here we went to a happy hour at a Mexican restaurant. So I'm taking a margarita glass from White Deer Stationery, of course, foiling it up, floraling it up. Again, this is what I tend to do with icons is add a little bit of floral off to the side, add a bow on the other side, and then some sort of other kind of foil accent to it. So we went to a little happy hour and we actually ended up just getting dinner. And then right here, I'm marking that we went to see Avatar, The Way of Water, which was so good. It was amazing. This was opening night. I'm pretty sure my husband and I saw it for the first time together when we were dating in high school, the first one. And it's funny to I think it's been like 12 years or something like that. Maybe I was asking him about it the other night. He remembered. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's just funny how our lives have changed in that amount of time, but we're still going to see movies together, which was fun. If you haven't seen it, I totally recommend it. It is so good. I mean, I loved the first Avatar. I'm also a big James Cameron fan. Titanic is my favorite movie of all time. The guy loves the ocean, but it's beautiful. It's such a cinematic experience. We did the IMAX 3D version. I had to take my nausea pill, let me tell you, and my eyes hurt so badly after sitting there and watching it with my eyes kind of scrunched for 3 hours or however long that movie. It's a long movie, but so worth it. I mean, it was the technology changes that have happened since the first one came out are out of this world. It was amazing. So that was a really fun little date night. Okay, so let's move over into the next day, Saturday. I'm working editing a plane with me here. I tend to use I love the clipboards from Lil Bees from her kits so much. When I had a freebie with her, I always had the clipboard on mine because I was such a fan of it. I tend to use them for appointments or work related tasks throughout the week, but I didn't really mark anything like that. So I just grabbed a little cup of coffee and from the kit also and layered that with the florals and stuff to mark editing a plan with me, because I tend to do that in the mornings on weekends when I have a coffee and can just kind of sit and I haven't been on the computer all day already from work or anything like that. I also marked right here. I'm switching something out because I ended up wanting the cookies from Wednesday. I marked that I overwintered my peppers today, and I should say I tried to. It has been about a month since I actually did this, and I don't think they made it. In some climates, you can, with frost cloth and trimming your peppers down, they can be overwintered. I tried. I think I failed. I don't think any of them made it. So maybe if I would have done it earlier, they definitely experienced some frost. This was a very cold week. If I would have done it earlier, I don't know if they would have made it or not. We'll try again next year, TBD. But anyways, I used the cute little clippings, snippers, whatever those are, pruners from Crafts by Talia. I thought that was so cute because it's literally what I used to do that. Okay, and then here I'm marking again, we made eggnog and baked cookies, another just kind of Christmassy night my husband and I had together, and watched The Grinch. I thought that the deco again from the kit, the cookies and the little mug with it looks like hot cocoa in it was such a good fit for that. And then I made my own little scene with the fireplace and pulling in more of the plaid, the florals, the Christmas tree, etc. To mark watching The Grinch, as well as some garland and some lights. I kind of strung those up together as if they were over the fireplace. I thought it was very cute. So yeah, just another little Christmassy night my husband and I had. Okay, so moving on to Sunday, I marked cleaning the house here. We were doing a lot of prep work. Our house was, I think, already pretty clean because of the cleaners, but we were having a bunch of people over this day, so I'm someone who's I'm sure a lot of people are just a crazy cleaner before people come over. There was this old video that used to crack me up. I'll see if I can link it somewhere. Called Company is Coming, that when I was a teenager, my sisters and I would laugh at it because it felt, and my cousins, because it felt like our parents, but now it's me. Now it's absolutely me. So, anyways, so I marked cleaning, and then we also like ordered bagels and whatever, a bunch of stuff, because our friends were coming over to watch football. My husband's best friends, who again we've been dating since we were in high school, so they were also my friends, um, and all their wives were in town this day, so everybody came over and spent the day at our house to watch football all day long. So I took this big Polaroid sticker from the kit and added some of the larger florals, as well as a bunch of deco, the little football helmet and the lights and all that kind of stuff around it, because to just mark that they were over literally, like, I think from like 10 a.m. to like, or 11, I don't know, to like the evening. So that was pretty much all we did all day. So I wanted a big sticker to mark that large chunk of time. I am also down here taking these old, I don't even know if they still have these, the Nap Queen stickers from Paper Trail Plans. They had sent them to me like before their shop opened. I'm not sure if they are in the shop or were ever in the shop, but I like using them to mark a nap, and I loved the pillows and the slippers from the kit. So again, I just layered some florals, cut up more of that plaid from the Gathered Layers collection, and kind of layered that all together to create a cute little cozy looking, I don't know what, scene. I layered it over some of the torn paper too. It's kind of hard to see, but it does have kind of a nice background. You can see in person. And then it looks like I also uploaded a plan with me this day. So I just did a very little icon and some deco there. And that is the whole spread and the whole, the day and the whole spread. So I love how this one turned out. I think this may be my favorite of the three. I don't know. The color palette is just definitely my happy place, and the florals were so good. The deco in this kit was so good. And I don't know, planning this one just came really easily to me. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it too. Um, it's also rose gold for Christmas, which I thought was really, really nice, to kind of switch it up, because last year I didn't have any rose gold spreads. And in my head, to me, I tend to think of Christmas and, yeah, Christmas as being a silver or gold holiday, but kind of fun to switch it up with rose gold. So okay, we're about to get into the next spread here. This is actually the week of Christmas. Let's see, what's this one called? Christmas Story from Two Lil Bees, another Two Lil Bees kit, although it looks very, very different. Um, I always try to do something that are like traditional Christmas colors in my planner for the week of Christmas. I don't know why that is. It just feels appropriate to me. Also, I tend to add in pink because pink is with red and green just makes sense to me in my planner. Again, I've said this before, but not in real life. I don't you have a lot of pink in my actual real life, but in my planner, it is my like neutral, my true neutral. Okay, so down here, I had so much fun with this little scene down here, and I actually didn't add any florals to it, which is nuts to me. But I had this idea whenever, okay, so I'll just say, whenever I see bottom washi in a kit that isn't the standard bottom washi, it like stresses me out a little bit, because to me, having like a strip of washi and then a strip of florals or something doesn't make sense in my brain. So I'm always, whenever I get a kit like that, I'm always like, how do I make this look purposeful? So I was kind of thinking for a while on this one. I thought the fence in front of it would be really cute, just to kind of bring together like the bottom strip of washi and the houses and make those kind of make sense together. So I think that washi is from Paper Moose Crafts, that fence washi, although a lot of shops have it, and I think are coming out with it right now for spring, a similar kind of fence pattern. And then I had these mountains from Letters to Apollo that I was excited to use in the wintertime, but I thought that they made sense to make it look like a little snowy Christmas village in the background. Super cute. And then I also had these little lampposts that were very similar in scale to the ones that were actually in the kit. The lampposts were from Sadie Stickers. So I just added those in to kind of foil it up, added some foiled Christmas trees in the background too. And then all of the snowflakes. And I just felt like it made a really cute little snowy Christmas village. So that was fun, and I really like how that turned out. Um, moving into the date covers up top here, I'm taking some of those little swatch stickers from the kit and cutting them in half. I knew I wanted a continuation of like a Christmas Village feel up here, but I didn't want it to be like the same strip of washi up there or anything like that. So what I ended up doing was cutting up those little strips of yeah, the swatches um to get a flat side on the bottom and then the more organic shape on top. Something I'm missing, I've said this a few times, but something I'm missing in kits that I would really love to see is more like swatch stickers of this size where there's 7 of them so I can use them as backgrounds for the date covers. I think with DIY date cover deco, it's so fun and sometimes there's so much going on up there that the actual dates themselves can get lost or look unintentional. But I think having a background like those swatch stickers makes this look a little bit more intentional. Like I am not just like doing something and then throwing dates on top. Like I am making everything happen around where the dates are supposed to be. Um, and it just looks cleaner and more intentional in my opinion. So anyways, that's what I did there. I used again my favorite little or I may have actually tried out the Paper Trail Plans dates for this one, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Although the originals are from Sadie Stickers, and gotta shout that out because those are the first ones that got me into that style of like script for my date covers. But yeah, I put the floral strip up top and then just kind of put little village scene elements in between each of the little swatches. So like I tried to space out the houses. There's some trees up there, etc., and kind of make them look more, I don't know, intentional again. Yeah, just like intentionally spaced out. I'm doing the little church over there, which was really cute. And again, using one of the Sadie stickers, gold trees in the background, which I think ties well into the bottom washi because there are gold trees in the bottom washi like that as well. So yeah. And then I also thought that little balloon, that little hot air balloon with the fence fit perfectly into the fence and the like scale of it made a lot of sense. Sometimes I struggle with that with when a kit comes with a lot of deco. If the scale of things don't make sense to me, then I don't want to put it all together. To shout out Jen of Whole Muna's Plans, she actually did a really good job in one of her recent sidebars of having clip art that was different like sizes, like the scale of things were off, but she created like depth perception in her sidebar so things looked like it was further away in the background, which is something that I don't think I've ever been able to do that, and I've wanted to before, like have that kind of there's a word for it that's escaping me, some sort of like depth yeah, having like depth perception where it would make sense to have something bigger in the foreground and smaller in the background. And I was really impressed by that. So I've got to figure that out. Again, I haven't been able to do that myself. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention it because the scale of everything up there made sense. And there were a lot of bigger deco pieces where it wouldn't have made sense to me. Again, there's not a wrong or right way to do it, but just in my brain, it wouldn't have made sense to me. So it was important to me to get everything kind of all the same size up there. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that too, if how you feel about like the scale of deco. Sometimes it bothers me, sometimes it doesn't. But like in this kit, there's like, especially when you get like, you know, the journaling page or something, there's like a giant like dog in this kit that was like larger than the houses, and I was like, that wouldn't have made sense for me to put up there, you know what I mean? I don't know. Anyways, okay. I'm rambling. Let's talk about the sidebar here. There was that super cute little Christmassy scene with the fireplace and the trees. I kind of cut down either side so it would fit into like centered into the sidebar. I'm also taking the little nutcracker and layering that over one of the like lace torn paper kind of stickers from the kit to mark that this was Christmas week. And then I'm just kind of filling in with deco. This torn paper strip with the little like meadow scene on it is really cute. So I'm just adding that in here and putting some of the snowflakes around it. I also had the house washi, the little Christmas Village washi from Sadie Stickers, and I felt like I missed an opportunity to use that in this spread. So I ended up just kind of pulling it into the sidebar there because I was like, I need to use it like in this spread. It obviously makes sense, but I didn't have any ideas of like how else to. I saw after I posted this, I actually just watched the plan with me this morning from Rachel, or not after I posted this, after I had planned this, I saw Rachel's monthly plan with me using this kit, and she put those houses behind the houses in the washi, and I thought that was a really cute idea, and I probably could have done something again, playing with the scale a little bit more like that and the depth perception. So that was a really good idea. If you haven't used this kit yet, I would definitely check out her video for some inspo about that. Okay, let's move on to the weekly day by day. On Monday morning, I marked having a neck therapy class. You guys, I don't know if anybody who's worked from home has experienced this, but one of the downfalls of the past couple years of COVID is I have like the worst tech neck, or just like my setup at home is not ergonomic, and I'm starting to like put some money into making that be more ergonomic because like when just like I don't know, working so many hours a day and not having the right posture and the right kind of seating has been really bad. So I'm trying to take care of my neck and fix the problems because it's getting to be very, very painful. So yeah, I went to a neck therapy class. I used a yoga mat to mark it because I don't know what else I would have used. Don't have any neck stickers, obviously. Yeah, anyways, okay, so and then I'm clearly just laying down the rest of the base here. Kind of already talked about why I did that in the last plane with me, I think. But anyways, okay, so let me talk more about Monday. I had 2 meetings. Again, I marked it kind of the same way that I talked about in the last plan with me, or the last spread in this plan with me, where I used those 2 Lil Bees little fancy boxes, and again did the kind of sisters but not twins version of my meetings where they all look cohesive and like they belong as part of a set, but they are not exactly the same. That I think is true in this version of the spread. I think I did accomplish that here. I also marked that I went to the gyno this day. Normally when I would put that in my planner, I would just write doctor's appointment and omit that because it's obviously a little bit personal, and a little bit too much to put on social media. But I did get a pap smear this day, and I thought it would just be maybe a good opportunity to remind you, if you need to get one, that you should go get one, since my audience I think is 99.9% female and all in the age range of needing them. So there's your little friendly reminder, that it is uncomfortable for about 5 seconds and you can do anything for 5 seconds. So there's your little reminder there if you need to do it. Okay, and then moving down here, I marked that my husband and I had birria tacos for dinner this night. One of our friends who was in town the day before, who he's from LA, and he brought us up some like birria tacos from LA. They have really good Mexican food down south in Southern California, obviously bordering Mexico. So that was quite the treat. Again, I did something similar what you've seen me do in previous spreads in this video, using the lights, the Christmas lights, to kind of frame that little quarter box there. And then I marked painting my nails this day too. I think I actually ended up running a bunch of errands and stuff this day also after work. But didn't have a whole lot of room for everything. So painting my nails sometimes is more fun to mark than a bunch of errands. Okay, there is the full day of Monday there. And you can see I also added in my paper trail plans. No, sorry, my pretty pink dainty dot dividers on the sides here. I just felt like with Christmas week, I needed to just make sure that I was being as festive as I possibly could. Okay, moving on to Tuesday, more pest control. We were just trying to get some like openings in our house closed up and stuff like that. So that's why was so many appointments over the past couple of weeks. I'm sure you're like, didn't you just have that last week and the week before? You're like, yes, we did. And then I am also marking that I had 3 meetings this day. It was a very busy work week, for sure, but because I was about to take a couple days off and then a whole week off after this, so very, very busy. Again, just trying to make it look cohesive with what I did on Monday to kind of match the 2 meetings on Monday, but not look exactly the same. And again, I feel like I accomplished that here with this one. Like this one, there was florals on either side. On Monday, there was just like a corner floral and some deco. So I liked how that turned out. Here, I am using again the 2 Lil Bees checklist. Got to do it. I cut that one down to just 2 check marks to mark some calls that I had to make this day, and I had layered it over a little piece of torn washi from the kit. Here I am marking plan ahead fail. I was wanting to do a plan ahead video for this week, but by the time I got around to filming it, it was like already not halfway through the week, but it was already partway through the week, and the kit that I was using, I've gotten a bit spoiled, I think, with my kit formats where, like, there's a couple shops that, you know, their kit formats are perfect and they work so well for me. And I've gotten really spoiled where I only want to use kits that have really good journaling kits because that has been something that has been new and exciting and keeping me like engaged and creative and keeping things fresh. This kit did not have a good journaling add-on, and I was struggling so hard with the kit that I was like, I'm just gonna dump it. Like I'm out. So I spent quite a bit of time trying to make it work that evening, and then kind of just had to be like, you know, what is the word? Not diminishing returns, but just, you know, even though I had put so much time into it, I didn't want to continue to put more time into something that wasn't bringing me joy in this hobby that's supposed to be like a creative outlet. So I got rid of that. And then you can see at the very bottom, I also marked that I worked very late this day. And I kind of did the similar thing that I have been talking about with the Panda Bird Design Gathered Layers box in the background, same kind of layering that I've done. Yeah. But again, it was such a crazy December for me. So it's kind of a miracle to me looking at this that I got so much other stuff done besides working. When you're working from like 9 to, I don't know, 7 or something, whatever my hours were, 8, I'm like, how do I get anything else done in a day? Anyways, okay, moving over to Wednesday, I marked Hello Winter. Winter solstice is such a bittersweet. I have said this before. Both summer solstice and winter solstice are so bittersweet to me because I am somebody who thrives on long day, like sunlight is so important to me. I thrive on long days. I need my days to be long. So winter solstice is bittersweet because it's obviously the shortest day of the year and it's so dark at that time, but it kind of gives me hope going forward that things are only going to get brighter and longer and better. So gotta love that. Marked it all fancy. I marked I had 4 meetings this day. And then down here, I am marking dinner with my girlfriends and our moms. Some of my girlfriends were in town for, the holidays, etc. These are my girlfriends that I have been friends with since we were in kindergarten together, and all of our moms are still friends too. So that was really fun. We went out to like a nice dinner together, had some wine, etc., etc. So I used the cute little wine glass from Crafts by Towie there. I'm taking a little snowflake scallop from, again, Panda Bird Design Gathered Layers collection and layering that with some of the like larger florals from the 2 Lil Bees, I think the journaling kit, and then of course some of the little Christmas sparkles. I made a little trail there that I thought was cute. So there is Wednesday, and here is the first half of the week. I love how it turned out. It feels super Christmassy, super fun, and very, very festive. Okay, so moving on to Thursday, I ended up taking the day off on Thursday rather than Friday. I tend to do that this this time of year because my company always gives us half days like the day before a holiday. So I wasn't going to take a day off on the half day. I was like, I'll just answer emails in the morning like I would anyways, and then stop working at lunch. Anyways, okay. So mark the day off with the little book and a paper trail plan script. Thought it looked kind of cozy. I marked that my cousin and her husband and their baby came over in the morning for coffee and bagels and stuff, and we just hung out. So I used my little favorite coffee cup from White Deer Stationery, and again, just foiled it all up. The gingerbread man on it is so cute. I think that's from Sadie stickers from last year. And again, I used so much of that plaid from the Gathered Layers collection. Like every day throughout the spread. I think it looks so cute and Christmassy. I was such a fan of it. And it's just such a good layering element to kind of break up. Like my tendency is definitely to put little dot clusters or snowflake clusters or whatever in the white space around all the decorations that I'm doing. And having the plaid is like just a little switch up that I really like. Feels very cute for the winter. Okay, so then in the afternoon, I met up with my sister and we got pedicures together. Again, just taking one of the little fancy boxes from the kit and layering it over some of the torn paper strips. After that, down here, I'm taking one of the ovals from Paper Trail Plans, layering it over top another one of the torn paper strips and marking that I went gift shopping. This was really just, I'm a big fan of the curbside pickup. So I had done, this was like my final things that I needed to pick up. I scheduled everything for curbside pickup today and then just was in and out really quick, like 20 minutes maybe. I used the gift shopping script from the Paper Trail Plan sampler. It's a little big for the space here. Honestly, I kind of wish I would have just written it in myself because I would have made it fit a lot better, but still looks very kind of like fun and festive. So no complaints there. I do like using the oval over top of that piece of torn paper from Paper Trail Plans because I think it just kind of adds a different interesting shape. I really think that the collection from Paper Trail Plans of the like box samplers, circle samplers, arches, etc., ovals. I mean, I already talked about it in this plan with me, I know, but I just feel like it's so good for all of the new journaling elements that we see in kits that are patterned or have pattern on them, to be able to white them out with different shapes. So they're still like, it's like it looks cohesive because they all have the same sort of like outline. The outline is all the same size and like same thickness and like width and all of that. And they all are the same color, whatever. So it kind of looks cohesive in that way. And then you're whiting everything out with the same kind of sticker. So it just looks really clean to me to have like, all these different journaling stickers and they're all whited out with, different shapes, but they're like cohesive shapes that are part of a set. It kind of brings it all together to me. I don't know if that makes sense. Me rambling again, sorry. But these are the things I think about. Okay, moving on to Friday. I am using that little clipboard to mark my work stuff that day, which again was that I had a half day and I had to send out that company-wide document that I'm always talking about because I seem to always do Plan With Me's on the 1 week a month where I send that out. Super cute. I love layering the florals behind it and kind of offsetting it to the side. I think it's really cute. And then after I was done with work, again, it was kind of early afternoon, I went grocery shopping and I am marking here with that cute little like holiday cookie baking sticker from Crafts by Towie that I made a bunch of like Christmas treats. Now, I'm not a baker. I can't bake at all. I love to cook, but the way that I cook is by ignoring recipes fully. Like I just read them and then I always feel like I know better and then I just do whatever I want. And that doesn't work for baking at all. So my version of like making Christmas treats is no bake kind of stuff. Like I do like Ritz crackers with like melted Rolos dipped in chocolate, or like what's the other ones I do? Like pretzels with like a melted Hershey's Kiss and then toffee over top, or there's another one. I don't know, stuff like that. More just like salty, sweet kind of stuff with candies. Like, and the most I can do is melting things. Otherwise, it's a mess. So yeah, that was what I did all day. Just made little treat bags for everybody, all the different family members and people that were hosting us, and all the different people we were seeing. I made tons and tons of treats this day. Um, and then I marked at the bottom there using one of the arches from the kit and from the paper trail plans, one that goes over it. Went over to my parents' house that night. We had Thai takeout. My sisters were all there and everything, and I slept over at their house because the next day is Christmas Eve, which is Christmas crabs for my family. If you've been with me for a few years, you've heard me talk about it because we have this day, the traditions of this day are planned out like almost to the minute. It looks exactly the same every year. It is the biggest day of the year for us, the biggest holiday, my favorite day of the year. Um, so we do first thing. My aunt picks us up at my sisters and I at my parents' house. All of my girl cousins are there, and we drive out to a grocery store like pretty far out that gets us our like live crabs. We do live crabs. So I am marking that here. Christmas Eve crabs. I put a little snow cap because we get to the grocery store an hour early and we stand outside, so we are the first people in line, which sounds kind of crazy, but it's just a tradition. Obviously, a giant line forms by the time the store opens. It's huge. It wraps like around the block almost. No, it doesn't. It wraps around the grocery store at least, to the sides. And it's kind of one of those things where like we stand outside in the cold for an hour hanging out, which is not super productive, but then we're able to get in and out of the store in like under 10 minutes. So and we're always the first people like at the fish counter picking up our crabs and all of that. So it's just like a fun family tradition. I also mark coffee at Sconehenge. Which I think is the cutest name ever. It's a coffee shop nearby where we get coffee and scones while we wait outside for the grocery store to open. Although some years the grocery store has served like apple cider and like hot drinks outside while people wait in line, because really the line does get crazy crazy long. So that's the whole thing. We go back to my aunt's house and we help her. We kill all the crabs, obviously prep all the crabs, but we do Feast of the Seven Fishes, which if you're unfamiliar is an Italian tradition where you literally have 7 different fishes on Christmas Eve. So we help kind of prep all of those different fishes. For us, it is crabs 2 ways, baked and in a pasta. We do like a lightly fried shrimp with aioli. We do calamari with aioli. We do clams in like a garlicky pepper sauce. We do, I think probably my favorite is mussels and like a creamy garlicky sauce. We do filet of sole. We do a whole halibut. Some years we do more than 7, but I think that was what we did this year. So it's always a really fun day. So after I helped, prep all of that, I went home, I finished wrapping gifts, and then I marked the actual dinner at the very bottom, which again, is just so much fun. And my aunt does it like very, very formal. So everybody's dressed up nicely and her house is beautiful and there's so many fun drinks. It's just, alcohol is always flowing that night. It's always just a really fun night. So again, it's totally my favorite day of the year. I love it. Okay. Moving on to Christmas Day, again, this was like a crazy day for Steven and I because we do try to balance between our 2 families, which can be so tricky. I feel for people who, are both family oriented and don't live close to both of their families. I don't even know how you would like manage this. For us, we kind of just tend to like drive back and forth all day, which is difficult in and of itself too. So, I marked Christmas Day here using the big tree and the torn paper from the kit. And then we actually ended up sleeping at our house last night. Normally we'll sleep over at my parents' house, but not last night, but on Christmas Eve night. There just was too many people and my mom was sick, so she was like sleeping in my bed. It was a whole thing. So anyways, we drove over to my parents' house and we did presents and brunch with my family first. So I marked that with obviously some florals and then the little slippers, just because brunch is traditionally in my family, done in pajamas. I'm sure that's the same for a lot of families on Christmas. So I thought that was really cute. Then we drove over, after that was done, we drove over to my in-laws' house and we had brunch again with my in-laws. They were very sweet and also made us a brunch. So that was just with my parent-in-laws. So there was that. And then I drove home for a couple hours, decompressed, took a shower, got myself like just ready a little bit, just and took some time for myself a little bit after brunch. And at that time, my brother and sister-in-law and their kid had came. So down here, I am doing some layering with the little scallop and like the little scallop header trim from the kit, as well as some florals. I'm gonna end up adding in some torn paper behind it to just make a cute little, I don't know, layered scene. And then I'm also going to add in, oh yeah, there we go. I kind of like tried to get it so, I don't know how to describe it. So like the paper was poking out in a, I don't know how to describe it. Like I wanted a certain amount of paper to be poking out. So that's why I kind of centered it the way I did. I'm tucking in a little Christmas tree here too to mark the rest of the day, which was we then did a second round of opening presents. Mostly that was all about my nephew. I mean, we all give each other presents. There's just millions of presents all over the place. And then we had a very nice Christmas dinner at my in-laws' house too. We were just kind of helping them. We stayed over there, helped them prep, had dinner, ended up sleeping over there that night too. So all in all, a super fun Christmas day, super full. We did so much stuff, saw so many people, had so much fun with family. And it was a really great Christmas week. And I can't wait to do it all again next year. But really, I do love how the planner spread turned out. I feel like it looks so festive and really kind of, I don't know, just very, very Christmas appropriate. I love how kind of fun and festive and warm it feels, because that's how the week felt to me. So anyways, I'm giving you a little pan over of the spread here. If you made it this far, thank you so, so much for watching all 3 of these Plan With Me's. Let me know your thoughts, because I am considering doing a couple more like double and triple Plan With Me's like this to chunk up like weeks that I missed in 2022. So I think I have more coming. So let me know what you think, if you want to see them in that way. But again, if you're still here, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And I think that's all from me. Thanks, everybody. Bye.